Hey, what is up guys? Red Ranger 02 here. I am here with a top 10. This time, I'm bringing to you top 10 video game crossovers that I believe should happen, or top 10 crossover video games. Now, these are not like things that's like, oh, this game and this game need to come together for an awesome video game crossover. It kind of turns into that a little bit towards the end, but these are also just some similar elements that I believe should be pulled from these universes and made into an awesome video game. Starting with number 10, Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. Now, you got a lot of characters that are in a way similar, and you've seen them do death battles like for this on Screw Attack. Like, oh man, why am I blanking on names right now? Ryu, there we go. I didn't understand why I was blanking on names there for a second. But Ryu and Scorpion, those guys. But Akuma and Shang Tsung, M. Bison and Shao Kahn. Those kind of guys fighting against each other. Those would be cool. Like, it's cool to watch them fight, but could you imagine controlling these characters from these other universes and making them fight yourselves? That is something that I would like to see. I mean, think about it. I'm pretty sure it's Poison that's in Street Fighter. Don't quote me on that. But imagine Poison versus freaking Sonya Blade. That'd honestly be a pretty epic fight right then and there in itself. And number 9, Digimon, Digimon, Digital Monsters, Digimon, and Pokemon. Digimon and Pokemon. Now, there has been this long freaking debate. Which is better, Digimon or Pokemon? Me personally, I don't care. They're both freaking phenomenal shows. But if I had to pick one, I would say Pokemon. I mean, come on. It's cool. I mean, Ash, dude, I feel like the kid's immortal. But honestly, Digimon and Pokemon, could you imagine what would happen if these two worlds crossed over? Let's say this is how it actually takes place in the game. The kids are in the digital world. Oh, we're in the digital world now. I wonder what's going to happen. Professor Oak is trying to experiment with new digital devices, for new Poké technology. All of a sudden, he ends up creating a portal into the digital world. The evil from the digital world is coming into the Pokemon universe, and guess who comes along with them? It's the Digimon crew. I can't remember any of their names. It's been forever since I've watched Digimon. All I remember is Agumon, and friggin' Agumon, and then transforms into Greymon. And then Greymon. Here's the only bad part I feel like about Digimon. Greymon. You got Agumon, dude, Agumon. You got Agumon, and then Agumon digivolve into Greymon! Freaking ginormous freaking Godzilla T-Rex kind of monster, right? And then Greymon digivolve into, you think the voice is gonna be even more epic. You think it's gonna be even more awesome. Look, you've seen the look probably before just from some pictures. You don't know what the heck the voice is gonna be. You're just waiting for that epic voice. Greymon digivolve into Metal Greymon. Ah! That was the only part I did not like about Digimon, honestly. Metal Greymon's voice. Ah! It sounded like Agumon trying to be tough. Now, I could see this kind of happening, and it's just Mega, and it's just Digivolve, and then Mega Evolution, and it's not oh, you're fighting these guys. Maybe there are some evil, Digimon people that have come in, it's oh, we got our own Digimon, we're gonna make them fight these guys. Pokemon, and then the other's Digimon. And then it's you got the same thing. Oh, they've got these, but Team Rocket, Jesse and James are just thinking, it's just oh, look, really rare Pokemon that talk and meow and don't need to be inside Pokeballs. Let's attack them. I feel like that'd be a really cool game, and almost if you wanted to, you could do a more modern day Pokemon style game, or you could go back to the old Pokemon style. Either way, I feel it would work. And number 8, and this is a little weird, Hero Factory and Lego games. Now I know you're thinking, what the frick is Hero Factory? If you guys know Bionicles, then if you guys know Lego, if you guys don't know Legos, first off, what the heck? And second off, Legos ended up having this thing called Bionicles, and then they ended up having this thing called Hero Factory, where it was like these different, like, heroic kind of looking guys with different weapons and different gear, and they would always have an enemy, and then you could take that enemy and then the hero and deconstruct them and construct them into one awesome thing. Now, what I would like to see, as far as the Hero Factory and Lego games, is I would like to actually see, because we've had these app games and these online games. No, that's not what I want to see. I want to see a full-fledged game made by the same guys that make the Lego games for like the consoles. So I'm talking Jurassic Park Lego, Harry Potter Lego, Star Wars Lego, Lego Dimensions, all of that. Bringing them together and like making an actual Hero Factory game. It's just like, okay, and then you could like say, it's like, okay, I had these characters to play with. I got this armor for this guy, and then these weapons for this guy. But then the customization that you could get, you could full on create your own guy in the game, like depending, because they're different like pieces and everything, like different body parts and stuff like that. Depending on the characters that you end up getting throughout the game, you can create some ultimate looking hero or some evil looking villains. It would be so cool, and you could actually pick a side. It's just like at the very beginning, it's just like you get to choose which side of the story you want to be on. It's like, do I want to fight as a hero, or do I want to fight as some of the villains? And those are like some of the best choices. Getting to play as the bad guy or the good guy. Those are some of the best choices in video games. So moving right along, at number 7, Percy Jackson and the God of War. Now I know you guys are well, I don't know what you guys are thinking. I'm talking to a camera. But hear me out on this. God of War, yeah, it's a little too violent for Percy Jackson, but what I'm saying is, if you took that kind of style of God of War, and then you place it into the Percy Jackson universe, how about Percy Jackson and the Last Olympian? Like, or just like, actually do all of the Percy Jackson books, starting from Lightning Thief all the way to the Last Olympian. That would be pretty freaking sweet. I mean, you would have Percy Jackson Lightning Thief, Percy Jackson the Sea of Monsters, Percy Jackson and the Titan's Curse, I believe, Percy Jackson and the Labyrinth, Battle of the Labyrinth or something like that, and then finally Percy Jackson and the Last Olympian. I've read all the books, I just can't remember the fourth one. But could you imagine, like, an actual crossover, like, with that? It's like, you actually get proper Percy Jackson games. We had the movies out. I don't think we actually got any proper games. And rather than being based on the movies, have them be based on the books. I mean, the movies weren't terrible. Actually, I don't know about Sea of Monsters. Whenever I saw the thing, I kind of avoided it for a long time, and I still haven't seen it. But Lightning Thief, a lot of people gave it a lot of, like, knocks and cons. But it wasn't a bad movie. I will admit, I enjoyed it. But that's because I hadn't read the Lightning Thief book yet. And afterwards, yeah, I can see why people didn't exactly like it. But still, imagine basing the actual game off the books rather than basing them off of the movies. I mean, look how well Splinter Cell does. Like, Splinter Cell Conviction, stuff like that. The stories of Sam Fisher. And those are all based off of the books. It sounds pretty good in my opinion. Now, number 6, this one gets a little weird. Yu-Gi-Oh! And Power Rangers Super Legends. Now, for those of you guys who do not know, Power Rangers Super Legends was the 15th anniversary game for Power Rangers. And what it was is that you got to go back and you got to play as all these different Rangers throughout time. I don't know about that completely. I don't know about getting to play as every not every Ranger, but getting to play as a different Ranger from every single Power Ranger series. Don't know about that, because I have the DS version. And in my opinion, the DS version is a bunch of crap. I don't like it. At all. Then you have the different Yu-Gi-Oh! Universes. You got the original Yu-Gi-Oh!, you got GX, heck, you got Zexal, which is the latest one. I can't remember the one with the motorcycles. If someone could, please list that in the comments down below, because I didn't even know if it was a good series. I kind of avoided it. The only thing I really liked about that was Junk Warrior. Junk Warrior seemed pretty cool. That was the only thing I liked about it. But could you imagine, because they did have a movie that was old Yu-Gi. That was the first 3 Yu-Gi-Oh! Series in like a one-dimensional kind of movie. I mean, imagine getting to play that, but like in a Super Legend style. It's like, okay, now I'm gonna go and I'm gonna play in this dimension as Yugi, or I'm gonna play as the guy from GX, or the guy from the other race car world. I still don't know what the heck that was all about. I played the game, and I played like part of the game, and it sucked. I was like, no, this isn't it. No. Trying to race and duel at the same exact time? That's stupid. I mean, sure, like, if you have autopilot and stuff, it makes a lot more sense, but still, no, I didn't like it at all. But imagine getting to do that. I mean, like, facing off players with some of these older it's like new against old. Like, you go into, like, let's include Zexal in that one. Let's say you go into the Zexal universe and it's just like, alright, I'm gonna put down this number card. Well, guess what? You place down a number card, I got an Egyptian god card. Oh snap. Now I'm screwed. Like, I would like to see that kind of like old versus new kind of thing. And number 5, Mech Warriors, which is an old school kind of mech fighting video game. And Megazords. This is awesome. An awesome idea, and I do not understand why it has not happened yet. So here's what I'm thinking. Put this, like, not in the 2D style of Mech Warriors, but do it still like the mech, but do like actual mech combat like Mech Warriors, but then put it into the engine that is in Titanfall, and you get to select a Megazord, and so, like, it starts you off with a certain amount of series. You go in, and you can unlock all of the Megazords throughout. You can unlock every single Megazord. Then, whichever Megazord you pick, you then have to pick one Dino from that. One Dino or one Zord. And then you fight those two, and it's like, oh, I'm getting all my powers up, I'm getting all this up. Oh, snap! I finally had the full power down. Press both left thumbstick, right thumbstick, bam! Megazord time. You have Megazords fighting against each other. Sure, you would have to nerf some of them down, because if you didn't, Time Force would always win. I mean, come on. It's technology from the year 3000. I don't think Mighty Morphin's gonna keep up with that. I mean, what was that? 90s? They're from the year 3000. Technology is way more advanced there. I feel like they would definitely have some home field advantage right there. But that would be really cool, because sure, you got to use the Megazords in like fights. In fact, the Power Rangers Dino Thunder game that came out on the PS2 and GameCube, if I'm remembering correctly, it was all about playing as the Zords, and then you would have a Megazord boss battle. Cool, but what if you actually got to go Megazord v Megazord? And then, or maybe you could have like a story mode where it's just like, you actually got to play as the Rangers for a bit, and then, let's say that's what the Versus mode is. Versus mode is 2 Zords going at each other, fighting like that. But then you have a story mode, which is the actual Rangers, in like this kind of newer looking game, and it's just like, alright, we just beat this guy, now we gotta summon in our Zords, and then you get to choose which Ranger you play as, or which Zord you want to fight with. That would honestly be cool. And now, number 4, Dead Island and Dead Rising. Dead Rising and Dead Island, both zombie survival games. One's a little bit goofier than the other because of all the crazy weapons that you could make. But then, follow me here. What if you actually had the statistics like how you did in Dead Island? Each character was good with certain items. Let's say you implement that with Dead Rising. Say, oh, Sam B, not only is he good with blunt weapons, but because of where he grew up, he can actually basically hotwire any vehicle. It may look like it, almost any vehicle. It could be locked. Sure, there's a cop car there. Oh no, it's locked. Now if you're playing as Sam B gets in there, hot wire his car, and is off. And then let's say he's good at modifying cars as well. Get out of here, fly. He's good at modifying cars as well. And then let's say because of all, like, he's good with blunt weapons, you don't have to go around then and run around and find all the blueprints for the blunt, like, based weapons, like different hammer, like, weapons and stuff like that. You automatically get those because you're an expert with blunt weapons. Say, like, if you're playing as, I can't remember the black girl's name, but she was really good with guns. You get all of the actual, like, gun weapons and stuff like that. Say you're playing as the Asian girl. She's good with, swords and knives and stuff. She gets all the bladed weapons. Then you're playing as the football dude. He's good with throwing weapons. He gets all the throwing weapons. And then they get other attributes added on to them. That would be really cool, and imagine actually adding in, like, the same kind of, like, day and night cycle with Dead Rising has. Like, the zombies get stronger during the night than they are in the day. That'd be something that'd be pretty cool, and then at the same time you could still have some of, like, the boss, like, zombies, like, that they have in Dead Island, like the big old tank guys that people are always like, just throw your weapon at him, throw your weapon at him, throw an explosive at him, shoot the explosive, those kind of things. Now, down to the last three. Marvel and DC. Now I know what you guys are thinking, that's not your number one, what the heck is wrong with you? Hear me out on this one, because I feel like it could be done multiple ways, and that's why it kind of ends up on number 3, because I don't know which one I'd like more, honestly. It can be done as, like, almost Mortal Kombat style game. You can have Marvel characters fighting DC characters, like, say you could have, like, Superman fighting Wolverine. Wolverine has an insane healing factor and everything, but it's like, holy crap. What's going on? Here, Superman's somehow losing, and it's just like the characters are so evenly balanced, or like some are just a slight bit more powerful than others. And all it's like Mortal Kombat meets Injustice, almost, because you did have Scorpion. Sorry about that. Oh. Sorry guys, YouTube notification. But anyway, like, say you put characters that are kind of like each other. So you got the Hulk, and then you have Solomon Grundy. Hulk from Marvel, Solomon Grundy from DC. You have them fight against each other. That wouldn't be a bad idea. Now, number 2, this is one that I'm going to kind of stretch a little bit. They're both Bethesda games. The Elder Scrolls series, and wait for it, oh, you're still waiting? Oh, sorry about that. Dishonored! Now I know what you guys are thinking. What the heck? Elder Scrolls and Dishonored. Two very different kind of games. If you place Elder Scrolls as a stealth game, not too much. Sure, you have the different powers in Dishonored that you don't exactly have in Skyrim or the Elder Scrolls. But think about it. You got the shouts, which kind of are like the powers in Dishonored. And I would like to think that as Tamriel, like, it progressed, like, Tamriel has progressed, that it slowly evolves into the world of Dishonored. Like, sure, they have guns and stuff like that, but they still kind of stick with their more ancient roots, which is hence why they have swords and stuff. That is something that cannot exactly be gotten rid of, especially considering, like, all the stuff that has happened throughout the Elder Scrolls games. It's just like, oh, so say you make this game. It's like, okay, let's have you play as an ancestor in the Elder Scrolls, but then, like, at times, then you can switch over into the modern day in Dunwall, and you can play as, like, someone else who's been given the powers, someone besides Corvo, like the descendant of his ancestor that you're playing as, and it's just like, you first make the character in the ancient times. Cool, but whenever you make that character, it also impacts your creativity that you can have with the one in the modern day in Dishonored. And then maybe some crazy stuff happens, and it's just like, you're able to actually fight alongside your ancestor, and you toss him the gun, he's able to shoot the gun and everything. That'd be pretty cool. And number 1, though, this is a death battle I wanted to see, but the more I got to thinking of it, this would honestly be a really cool game to see. At number 1, Inuyasha and Dante. And I'm not talking like Devil May Cry Dante, the reject Dante with the freaking spike hair that his devil trigger makes him look like the original Dante. No. That sucked. And I'm not talking about Dante's Inferno Dante either. No. I'm talking about normal Dante. I'm talking about the OG Dante. Here's how I feel like this would happen. Dante's a bounty hunter. Let's say that the world that Kagome lives in, who is a character from Inuyasha, let's say her world, like, not the ancient world where she goes and meets Inuyasha, let's say her normal world where she lives with her family and everything, let's say that's in the same universe that Dante's in. Dante gets a call. Dante, there's something I need you to find for me. It's a very powerful weapon, but I feel like if it gets into the wrong hands, then it can cause some problems. I need you to go get it, that way I can put it in my collection, that way no one else can get to it. Okay, what you need? It's a blade called Tetsaiga. Now, those of you guys who recognize the name, that's the name of Inuyasha's sword. He gives him the location where it's more than likely at, but then whenever Dante gets there, he starts questioning Kagome's grandfather, and he's just like, you have an interest in stuff that's demonic and ancient? Come check out our well. Dante senses a strange demonic-like energy there. He ends up jumping down into the well. He can't get to the other side, but using his demon powers, he's able to then break the barrier and get on into the other side, where he then meets Inuyasha, who has Tetsaiga, and the two of them start fighting it out. But then, the actual guy that employs Dante ends up popping up, and he's like, hey, Dante, how's it going? I don't need Tetsaiga anymore, and I don't need you or Inuyasha as part of my plans anymore. I found this girl, and she has this, and he has the half of the sacred jewel, so let's say this takes place a while after the Spiderhead incident in Inuyasha, where the weird Spiderhead demon ends up joining all the fragments together into the half of the sacred jewel, which amplifies the powers of any demon. This guy happens to be a demon, but Dante didn't know that because he didn't meet him face to face. And then Dante's like, look, I'm sorry, I'll help you try and get that sacred gem back. And Inuyasha apologizes rather than being his normal, like, brute self, and goes, don't worry, that's my bad too. I feel like I've been manipulated by this guy in the past. He senses that energy. And then you actually have not a two-way fighting system with just Inuyasha and Dante, but Inuyasha, Dante, Kagome, and Shipun, who is the little fox demon that they have. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Don't quote me on that. But could you imagine actually getting to fight as each one of those characters? Shipun, yeah, he's kind of the wild card because he doesn't exactly have the greatest amount of power. But could you imagine doing that? And then the way I would feel like this would work is like you could have like team takedowns, almost like Batman Arkham Knight style. It's just like Kagome is like, Dante, here, shoots an arrow at an enemy and then tosses him into the grapple of Dante, which he then tosses into the air, uses ebony and ivory, which are his two pistols that he created himself. He uses those and he keeps on shooting him into the air until he's in the grasp of Shipun, who then places a special like enchantment on his back, which causes him to get shocked by lightning. He then drops him, and then and then Inuyasha jumps at him with his iron-breathing claw and slices him in half. Long ways. Ouch. I mean, could you not see that in some kind of fighting game? And then maybe the guy that ends up tricking them is just like, hey, with my powers, I've been able to find an energy that Inuyasha should react the same way as to the new moon. For those of you who do not know, the new moon allows, spoilers, if you guys haven't seen Inuyasha, but if you haven't seen it by now, then you probably weren't planning on watching it at all, or reading it. But once a month, because he's a half demon, half human, half demon, once a month he is forced to turn human, and that's at the day of the new moon. So say this guy's able to capture an energy that kind of is like the new moon, and all of a sudden he has all of his guys attacking Inuyasha, and Inuyasha gets hit, and he goes, well dang, I'm human now, I lost a lot of my cool powers. But then Dante's like, don't worry, I have your back, and he uses his own demon powers to reverse that, because Dante is not half demon, half human, but it's half demon knight and half angel, which is pretty cool. And so, like, then you have Dante with his double trigger, where he kind of looks like a demon knight. And then you have Inuyasha, say he discovers, like, his demon side earlier, where he gets even sharper claws, larger, more intimidating fangs, those, like, blood red eyes. And then you have, like, periods where he's just like, you know what, I'm gonna use my double trigger, you're gonna use your demon powers, and we're just gonna fight together. And it's just those two, like, because they're so dangerous together with that kind of power. This is like Kagome and Shippuden, where they're like, we're not getting in the middle of this. You guys are way too overpowered like that. You guys can take on all of these guys. We're not getting in your way. And of course, you know you're gonna have a battle of the brothers, Inuyasha's brother and Dante's brother, like, teaming up against the two of them, and having an epic brother on brother battle. I mean, it honestly sounds like a cool game. And I feel like the style should be, like, made like Street Fighter 4 or Street Fighter 5, I'm pretty sure. I think there's Street Fighter 5 out. I haven't played a Street Fighter game, honestly, since one of the originals on the arcade. It's hard to keep up. But taking, like, the graphics of that, but keeping, like, their normal stance. Not, like, making them super muscular or anything. I mean, look at Capcom vs. Marvel. Kind of that style, but more in, like, the more modern, like, Street Fighter style with the 3D animation. And gameplay-wise, make it like Arkham Knight. It's just like, okay, Arkham Knight meets Ultimate Alliance. Like, you have a team of 4, and it's just like, you're going, and then all of a sudden, like, when you get into fights, it's like Arkham Knight, and then you can do, like, those team takedowns, like I said, and you can, like, do takedowns where it's like you fight enough to the point where it's like, oh, do a 2-man takedown. Sometimes it'll be, depending on who you are, can be like Inuyasha and Dante, or Inuyasha and Kagome, or Inuyasha and Shippuden. You guys know what I mean, but then it's like you keep on fighting a little bit more, and it's just like 3-way combo, like 3-man takedown. And it's 3 of them taking them down, and then you can get up to the 4-man takedown, where it's all 4 of them concentrating on one dude, or even if you charge up enough, all 4 of them taking on the entire crowd. And honestly, that does not sound like a bad idea for a video game. I want this to happen, so if you're listening, game developers, get the rights to Inuyasha and get the rights to Devil May Cry. Guarantee you will have a moneymaker on your hands. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any ideas for any kind of game crossovers, leave your idea in the comments below. There you go, Taylor. That's English. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, and if this is your first video of mine watching, why not subscribe? And I will see all you dudes in the next video. Power down!